jump right into the action. We got the move d4, I play d5, c4, and now once again I play the classic Slav defense for the second time in this tournament. As you might recall, I won in my very first round game against Fabiano Caruana, getting me off to a very good start. So we get the move knight to f3. Here I play the move knight to f6, knight c3, and now I go for this line with d takes c4. We get the move a4, bishop to f5, and now Arjun goes for the move knight to e5. Now in this position, the old main line used to be the move pawn to e3, e6, and bishop takes c4. Knight to e5 these days is considered to be a bit more challenging, as white tries to get the knight to a better square on c4 and try to build a big white center immediately. Now here I play the move knight bd7. Many years ago, let's just say about 20 years ago, when I first took up the Slav defense, this line with e6, f3, and bishop to b4 was considered to be the main line where black sacks a piece, and everything is very chaotic from the get-go. Now this line, I believe, is still considered to be fine for black in modern theory, but today I wasn't really in the mood to go for this. So instead, I decide to play this move knight bd7. We get knight takes c4, queen c7, and now Arjun plays the move g3. Now white aims to potentially fianchetto the bishop with bishop to g2, but g3 also supports the idea of bishop to f4, where the bishop can attack the queen on c7. So here I play the move e5, and after playing the move e5, Arjun decides to take the pawn. I take, he goes bishop to f4, trying to pin the tail on the donkey. I go knight d7, re-guarding my horse, and now we get the move h4. Now this move is not necessarily a mistake, but in many top games, the move bishop to g2 is played more frequently. Usually black responds with a move like g5 or f6 here, but when white plays the move h4, white immediately takes away this g5 idea, because if I push the p, white takes back with the pawn, and I'm simply down a pawn for nothing. So Arjun plays h4, and now I decided to play this move f6. We get bishop to h3, takes, and here I play the move rook d8. Now, as you will notice, I have been surprised by this move h4. I knew that it was a line, but it's not something I had reviewed before the game. So I was using a lot of time, and already here, as you can tell, I'm down 30 minutes, and again, one of the big issues is time pressure for me. So we get the move queen c2. Now I play the move queen to c8 here. When I play this move queen c8, I break the pin. I love to take the horse, but I lose my queen, and with it the game as well. So I can't take the horse, but when I go queen to c8 here after knight to d2, or let's just say white takes, for example, after knight takes and knight takes here, white is apparently still okay in this position, but I think black should be okay since white is unable to castle the king to the king side. Remember that white has moved this rook, and you can't castle to the queen side, as that would go through a check. So Arjun plays the move knight to d2, trying to keep all the pieces on the board. I play knight c5, attacking the rook on h3. We get rook h1, queen e6 castles, and now I play the move rook to d4. Now at this point, I spent 25 minutes before playing this rook d4 move. It was not my initial intention. Originally, I wanted to go knight to g4, but after knight to e4, I simply could not find a way to finish my development of the bishop and the king. Initially, I thought check, king b1, and knight d4 would be good, but after queen to c1 here, these knights might look really good, but very quickly, after bishop e7 and f3, the knights are getting pushed back very quickly here, and after knight f5, let's just say white takes and goes bishop a7 or bishop f2, doesn't matter. White is simply up a pawn in the center of the board, and these knights are just not it. So I spent 25 minutes, and ultimately, after being unable to make the move knight g4 work, I thought, you know what, I'm down on the clock, let's be aggressive. So I play the move rook to d4, creating the classic kebab on the 4th rank where I attack all the pieces, but more importantly, I'm really spying this pawn, and I want to lift the rook potentially to b4. So let's just say white goes bishop e3, and I play the move rook to b4. Suddenly this rook is very close to the pawns which are near the white king, and with this great knight on c5, I think that black should be okay. Now here, Arjun spent a ton of time before playing this move king to b1. He spent 30 minutes himself here, giving up the entire time advantage, but it's not an easy position for either side to play, and it feels as though every single move requires some thought. Fortunately, while Arjun was spending his 30 minutes on this move, I was calculating at least my next move in response to whatever he does. So for example, if he goes bishop e3, I play rook b4, wait for a move, and think. If he plays a move like knight to f3, for example, again, I just go rook b4, I wait for his move. If he plays e3, I go knight d3 here, and I'm doing great as well after king b1 and rook to b4. So basically, I had my next move in my pocket. Now, this is very important because after Arjun plays the move king b1 and I go knight to g4 here, Arjun has burned the whole time advantage, but now because of my very quick reply on the next turn, he suddenly has to sink into the tank and use a lot of time, and now already the game is starting to turn in general terms of the direction. Now, I know that was a bit of a mouthful. The line that I actually thought was most likely to occur in the game, by the way, was that Arjun would take the knight and play this move e3. And I thought after knight d3, king b1, knight b4, the game would end in a draw. After queen b3, queen g6, king a1, and simply a repetition by force. This was my baseline for what I expected, but of course it didn't happen. So, Arjun plays king b1, I go knight to g4, trying to take the pawn and fork the rooks on d1 and h1. Arjun plays knight to f3, and this move is simply a mistake. Now, I was very surprised to see Arjun play this, because even back here, when Arjun spent 30 minutes on king b1, I had already calculated the line which occurred in the game. So we get king b1, knight g4, knight f3, I trade, and now I take the juicer on f2. Now, I must add, I was also shocked that Arjun did not play knight takes d1, as the knight guards the pawn on f2, while this queen guards the two other pawns. That's not to say that black is better here. I think I was going to play knight e4. No, not it. I was going to go queen e4 here, and I thought this was completely fine after takes, knight e4. I didn't see any issues for me, but it's also not the end of the world for white.